Small Business Debt Helpline. Anna speaking.
Calls from small business owners in financial distress have hit unprecedented levels, topping their list of concerns, debt owed to the ATO.
We're talking to so many people. When we finish a call, there's another call waiting, and everyone is so stressed and so distressed, and many people are crying. They don't know what to do.
After giving people leeway during the pandemic, the ATO is taking stronger action to recoup $34 billion worth of debt it says is owed by small businesses. In some cases, the money is taken from a person's bank account or directly from their employer through what's known as a garnishee notice. It's also slapping tens of thousands of current and former company directors with director penalty notices, making them liable for unpaid tax and super, with just 3 weeks to pay up.
The main effect of that is that people's family homes are at risk. That's a very frightening thing to consider when you only have 21 days to decide what to do. So if people do decide to liquidate their company, then they're in a situation where they've lost their business, perhaps they're putting employees out of work, and that will affect their family.
A day after his 52nd birthday, Andrew Christodoulou got a nasty surprise in the mail.
A director's penalty notice. I'd never even heard of one. It rocks up on the doorstep and it essentially says you owe $437,000, you have 21 days to pay it.
The ATO is alleging the security technology firm Andrew ran for 22 years owes superannuation to former workers dating back to 2013. He resigned from the company in 2016 because of bad health, before his sister put it into voluntary administration.
Now, had they have come to us in 2014, 2015 and said, hey, you owe John Smith $200 or you owe Frank Jones $400, how great, we could have sorted it out. But to come forward all these years later with a figure that has no justification, no clarification around it, and give you 21 days to figure it out.
Andrew fears the ATO could now bankrupt him.
What's the emotional stress on you and your family been, Andrew?
Massive. Yep.
Andrew has vowed to keep fighting the ATO until the dispute is resolved. He says his accountant estimates his company owed about $40,000 in super at the time.
There's nothing wrong with super being paid, but to persecute and go after other people like we did in the medieval days when we'd ransack a village, burn it to the ground and take everyone's money and do what we wanted, that's not fair.
Liquidator Jarvis Archer says the rate of insolvencies is now around the peak seen just after the global financial crisis because of stronger action by the tax office.
They could come at any time and catch people off guard. Hey mate, what was that notice there that you had there?
Jarvis says sometimes director penalty notices don't even reach the person they're intended for until years down the track when interest on the debt has compounded.
It's easy to miss a letter if it goes to an address, particularly if they no longer live at that address. And it's perhaps the most serious letter that person will ever receive.
And how many tax returns are you outstanding with?
At this tax clinic, counsellors are busy. Its founder is calling for more protections for people hit with director penalty notices.
For example, their abusive ex-partner has made them a director. That's the problematic piece, that it would be terrific for the ATO to be poised with the discretion to be able to provide that compassionate defence or release from that sort of mechanism.
The ATO says that in certain circumstances, directors may have a valid defence that would remove their debt or reduce some of the interest charges, but it maintains that firmer action is needed so that small businesses doing the wrong thing don't get an unfair competitive advantage.
And when did you receive that?
Back at the debt helpline, Anna is hoping the ATO gives some of her clients more time to pay up.
Having gone from being so lenient to so quickly having a firmer approach, especially in a time when there is a cost of living crisis, I think is too soon.
For now, more businesses are expected to go under as the tax office continues calling in debts.